The regular season ends here. The 42 DeWalt Cup Series drivers head to Dover, Delaware at the Dover Motor Speedway to conclude the regular season. 7 drivers have already locked up spots in the 12-driver postseason, and now we look to find the final 5 drivers to join them. The battle for the second wildcard spot is currently a tie on points between Gabe Willard and Jack Haas, meaning each one of the 80 laps run today will be crucial for both drivers. Time to determine the chase field in the Xfinity 400 right here on JRTV. Welcome everyone to the Dover Motor Speedway, the 24th race of 32 in the DeWalt Cup Series season, and the final race before we get to chase time here in the DeWalt Cup Series. I'm Joe Rakowski. Joining alongside me in the booth is EKH Enterprises team owner Evan Hunter. Evan, great to have you back in the booth. The last time you were up here, I believe, was the World 600. Some shenanigans went on in the middle of that race. Hopefully that doesn't happen today, and especially for you, you have a driver currently in the chase as they run 42 points to the good. Riley Spiritu starts 7th here today. You have to think, obviously you want him to win. You want to get that first win as a team owner, but today's biggest goal is make that chase and just survive this race, not have anything catastrophic happen to that 28 car, right?
Yeah, Joe, that's true. I'm hoping we don't have anything happen like we did at Charlotte. But if we do have something happen like that, then as long as Riley gets through it, I think we'll be okay, and I'll be happy.
Well, he's starting pretty well today, and track position does mean a pretty good bit at Dover, but what matters even more is the car that the driver is in. This racetrack in NR2003 is a very driver and car oriented track. The best drivers, the best cars will show at. It's kind of like real life, like we see at Dover, where the best teams, the best drivers, they come to play at Dover and they can march through the field. If we get a long green flag run, those top drivers, the Honor Islands, the Visions, the Toussaints, they could easily pull away from the rest of the field and start lapping cars at a very abrupt and very fast rate. And we'll see how that plays out. And as of late, Evan, we've been saying these 3 big teams, Honor Island, Vision, Toussaint, they've been winning these past, 15 races now. But an even weirder trend is that the last 7 races have only been won by 3 different drivers. They're each one from one of those big 3 teams for a different manufacturer. So Chris Jericho's won 3 of the last 7. In fact, he won the last time out at Bristol. Matt Tuck has won 2 of the last 7, and so has Nathan Stapleton. So, Evan, not only are those 3 teams they've been dominating since back in April, but you have now a subsection of those 3 teams, a driver from each team, that has been dominating over the summer.
Yeah, you kind of just, have... It's weird. You have this little subsection forming, and you got just drivers that are, the top of the pile, and then you got drivers that are even the top of the pile. It's just weird how things are forming up, but really just the same drivers rising to the top that you see in a lot of series, and they're probably going to keep doing it here in this series too.
I will say that they're painting a target on their back, especially from their teammates that haven't had as much success as of late. So Laura Chung on pole today. She's seen her teammate Nathan Stapleton go out and win races as of late. Stapleton has the most wins in the series at 4. Laura Chung hasn't won since that World 600 at Charlotte back on Memorial Day. So it's been a while. It's been over 2 months since Laura Chung's found victory lane. Is today the day where she can get some revenge and get back to victory lane? Brian Rodriguez, even though he's leading the points, he only has those 2 wins this season. One of them was all the way back at Daytona. Then he won at Vancouver. Hasn't won since. Is today the day where he can try and turn around for Toussaint? Max Davis hasn't won at all in the DeWalt Cup Series. Can this be the day? Bryce Egan, he's second in points, but he hasn't won since Richmond, which was, I believe, race 7 earlier this season. Keegan Thompson hasn't even led a lap this season in that number 6. So those are the drivers that are in those big 3 teams, but has not had the success as of late that their teammates Chris Jericho, Matt Tuck, and Nathan Stapleton have had in terms of wins. We'll see if one of those other drivers from those big 3 teams can get to victory lane today at the Dover Motor Speedway. And speaking of victory lane, that's going to be the place a lot of people want to be today, but especially when you think about how the chase is playing out and how close some of these battles are in terms of battles for positions in points. The battle for the regular season championship is still on. 14 points separate Brian Rodriguez from Bryce Egan, second in the points. Rodriguez starts fourth. Bryce Egan starts in ninth here today. It'll be a tall task for Egan to outpoint Rodriguez by 14 points, but it's doable. If Rodriguez has an off day, Bryce Egan goes up there and wins his third race of the season. It could happen. Then you have a battle between teammates, 10th and 11th in points. Chris Jericho enters with 3 wins. He's locked into the chase because he has a wildcard spot locked up. He's 11th in points, but he's 19 back of teammate Keegan Thompson. Now, Keegan hasn't led a lap, as mentioned, this season. How much he would love to have gotten a bonus point or two from that over the course of the season to get a little bit of a bigger gap over his teammate, be a little bit closer to Drew Martinelli, because if Keegan has a bad day and Chris Jericho has a good day, Keegan could fall out with no wins and nothing to go his way. He would then fall out of the chase entirely, not even take up a wildcard spot, which then in turn turns to the battle for the second wildcard spot as they run, which is between Jack Haas, Gabe Willard. They're tied entering into this race. Basically, highest finisher of them, unless one of them leads a lap, will get that wildcard spot. And then that can also be spoiled by Eli Bright, Levi Shones. They both have a win. They're both inside the top 25 in points. Shones starts 6th. Eli Bright starts 8th. If they win today, they take a wildcard spot by virtue of having more wins than Jack Haas and Gabe Willard. So, Evan, there's a lot of battles that we're going to be focusing on, but the biggest one of the day is going to be the wildcards and that battle for 10th in points. Keegan Thompson versus Chris Jericho, Jack Haas versus Gabe Willard, and how well Levi Shones and Eli Bright are doing.
Yeah, and Jericho's really facing a dilemma because Keegan might be pretty mad. That's a teammate. Keegan might be pretty mad if Jericho ends up jumping him in points. And also, I think if Jericho jumps into 10th in points, then Gabe Willard and Jack Haas, if they both have, all right days, then they'll be the wild cards. They'll take up both spots. So really, they're hoping that Jericho has a good day, jumps up to the top 10, and that both of them can end up getting in, and they don't have to battle each other because they're tied right now.
It's fascinating how it's going to play out. Fascinating how some drivers can be rooting for other drivers and other drivers can be rooting against other drivers. It's going to be fun to watch over the course of 80 laps at the Dover Motor Speedway. Jericho has a hill to climb starting back in 21st. We'll see if he can get it done. And speaking of that, Jack Haas and Gabe Willard. Haas starts 17th. Willard starting in 22nd, so they're close, but Haas is on the inside to start. Could be crucial for him to get some spots over Gabe Willard to try and fight for that second wildcard spot. We'll now move on to the picks to win. Last time out, Trey lost to me, so he got to pick first, and obviously he's not here, but we have his pick in, and he has chosen Matt Tuck starting in second here today, so we'll see how Tuck does. And as the Gatorade starting grid starts to roll now, Evan, let's get your pick to win here today at the Dover Motor Speedway.
So I know it might be shocking. I'm not going to take somebody from the big three. I'm going to go with Levi Shones. He's starting in 6th. He's already got 1 win on the season. If he gets another, then he'll jump up, he'll get a wild card, and he'll beat out Gabe Willard and Jack Haas. So I'm going with Levi. I think Levi's going to get it done here today.
I like that pick because it's full of controversy and drama and creates a really good storyline for the end of this race. If Levi's up there battling for the win amongst some other drivers, can he do it? Can he fight his way into the lead and get into the chase in a last race heroic effort before the chase starts? I'm going to take a teammate to Trey's pick. I'm going to take this number 18 of Bryce Egan starting back in 9th place. As mentioned, he hasn't won since Richmond all the way back in, I believe it was April or March actually. So Egan wants to get back to victory lane. He wants to get that regular season championship. I think he's going to do his best by winning today, and then we'll see how the dominoes fall from there for Bryce Egan in the number 18. Let's get our race facts before we get going, presented by DeWalt. It's an 80-lap race around this 1-mile racetrack. They'll field windows, something to watch for. It's a little bit of a wider one, but they'll be able to go about 42 to 46 or 47 laps. So we'll see how that plays out and if the thing can stay green throughout the course of the 80 laps. And a lot of banking here, even down the straights at Dover. So it's going to be a wild one. Fast speeds, but a good amount of tire fall off as well. We'll be seeing upwards of basically about 2 seconds of tire fall off over the course of a long run. So it's Lord Chung, Matt Tuck on the front row for the Xfinity 400 at Dover. Chung on the gas, and we're going at the Monster Mile. Tuck with a bad start got put up top 3 wide by Brian Rodriguez. Levi Schoen's going to shoot the middle as well. This is the breaking point off turn 4. Going 3 wide could be close. Tuck gets in line. Levi Schoen's backs out of that. Lap 1 led by Laura Chung from pole. That's another bonus point on top of the 3 that she got from winning pole. Stapleton all over the bumper, and Max Davis wants to win desperately. Hasn't won yet this season, and he'd become the first, or they would become the first team to have all 3 drivers win a race this season. If they can accomplish it, Crown Jr. and Johnny Cox bang doors off of the corner with Jordan set up top 3 wide. They luckily sort that out. Johnny Cox aggressive to the inside of Crown Jr. Some aggressive racing early on, but a big story. Gabe Willard's dropping back, and Jack Haas is moving forward in the 23 car.
Yeah, Haas looks fast here early. He's getting to the inside of Eli Bright here. Hopefully he can. Yeah. Yep, he's got it. Eli washes up.
That's 11th place for Jack Haas. Gabe Willard's back outside the top 20, still 3 wide back there with Jordan Stout. He gets in line. Keegan Thompson do what he needs to do in front of Chris Jericho as they run. Justin Seidel between them, one of your drivers. And at the front is a log jam of cars as Max Davis moved to second. He's going for the lead.
Wow.
So how about this for a driver that hasn't won yet this season? Max Davis, aggressive at the start, gets by Nathan Stipton, now get by his teammate Laura Chung, and Max Davis leads on the 5th lap at the Dover Motor Speedway. And here comes Riley Spridley-Tube up inside the top 5, going now for 3rd on Laura Chung. Bryce Egan behind him. Lathan Strickland and Jude Martinelli, the teammates from Fos Autosport, running well up near the top 5, gaining on the front few as Laura Chung goes backwards on the outside lane. Here comes Jerry Chen to the inside as well.
I like that you mentioned that none of the big no team even has had all 3 of their cars go into the victory lane, and Max Davis is trying to change that here today. But it's just shocking how good we've had. 3 teams have been so good, and yet not one team has gotten all 3 cars into victory lane.
Yeah, but ironically, you could have 2 teams that get all 3 cars into the chase. Tucson Racing currently has all 3 cars in, as long as Keegan Thompson can stay ahead of teammate Chris Jericho. And Vision Motorsports at the moment, I mean, they have Bryce Egan locked, Matt Tuck is locked. You have to think that Max Davis, with the points gap he has and with how he's running here today so far, he's in pretty good shape as well. And they're looking like they're going to be the only 2 teams to get all 3 drivers into the postseason, as Matt Tuck trying to make up lost ground. Remember, he started 2nd, dropped back 3 wide at the start. Now he's back up to 7th and gaining on Jerry Chen for 6th. Good run for Chen so far through the field. He's he was a driver start of the season, Evan, where I was looking at championship favorite, that this guy was going to be the guy to beat for the championship. Then he cooled off, and he's just been sitting there. He's still top 5 in points. He's still one of the top 5 drivers of the season. But he's really need to pick it up, and he picked it up at Michigan. He got a good result there, nearly won it over Chris Jericho, and now here he's made a nice run through the field to start, currently up inside the top 10 and 6th, and just behind Lathan Strickland for a top 5 spot.
Yeah, it seems like it was just yesterday that Chen was, coming from the back every single race. He qualified poorly, and he'd shoot up to the front by like lap 15. He was already top 5, and it feels like he's really dropped off lately, and but he might be getting some momentum back before the chase.
Look at this gap that is formed.
Wow.
16th, Zachary DeLello is about a 2.5 up on Levi Schoens, who's dropped from his starting spot all the way back to 17th. Alex Samatali and Anthony Hernandez are 2 teammates for Atlanta Motorsports. They're up inside the top 20. So is Angel Gutierrez for Red Lightning Racing. A good run for him up through the field. Johnny Cox and Joshua Cox are once again right together, nose to tail. They're not related at all, but here they are, 21st, 22nd. Eli Bright's also dropped from his starting spot, so it looks like at the moment those 2 drivers are going to need to play some strategy or getting lucky. And speaking of getting lucky, Gabe Willard needs to get lucky. Back down at 25th, he started in 22nd, so he's gained some spots from where he had dropped back. But at the moment, Gabe Willard's in trouble. Jack Haas is currently up in 11th, and Willard's 14 spots behind that. Crown Jr.'s dropped. William Seaman back here. Then you have Drew Webb. Joe Hendry again by Jordan Stout for 29th. Stout's been kind of getting bullied to the top side. Matthew Burnett started poorly. Still racing outside the top 30, trying to get some spots. Just got 33rd from Mathis Wells. Cam Wright Jr., Jacob Miller, his 2 teammates up there battling inside the top 10. Miller's outside the top 30. And Chris Keselowski outside of Bruno Diacmo with his teammate Ludovic Charette right behind him. Tegan Fox, Noah Brady, and Ryan Wilson round out the field. We go back to the front. You can already see the leaders are nearly on the same straightaway as 42nd place. Max Davis still leads this race over Stapleton. Riley Spritube in 3rd. Bryce Egan, Lathan Strickland still the same top 5. as Jerry Chen still trying to fend off Matt Tuck, and Laura Chung from pole wanting to get a spot back. She's going to dive it to the inside of Matt Tuck into turns 3 and 4 for 7th place. So these are two drivers that we think could be favorites for the championship once we get into the chase. Here they are battling for 7th on lap number 16 at Dover.
Two aggressive drivers that they showed right there, too. Tuck almost, chopped Laura Chung off, and Laura Chung sent it to the inside.
That was good, Matt Tuck. You got to run off turn 2. Sometimes the outside can work if you hit it right. Matt Tuck did that. Gets down in front of Drew Martinelli, so he'll keep 8th spot for the moment. Bryce Egan is starting to heat up Riley Spurley Tube and might want to find a way to barge past in a second here as he's all over the back bumper for 3rd place. Stapleton keeping a decent, consistent gap over behind Max Davis, which is just what he kind of wants to do at the moment. I think just wanting to save some tires, just keep him in within arm's distance, and see if he can get up there towards the end of the run when maybe the tires start to wear out, maybe save some, and he can try and close in as Chen's gotten away from that battle between Laura Chung and Matt Tuck, and Tuck's right to the back bumper of Laura Chung. So here they go again into turns 3 and 4. Laura Chung trying to give Matt Tuck some dirty air through these long sweeping corners as they run around the bottom of the concrete. But Matt Tuck is all over Laura Chung, still battling for the 7th position. Chung got it, thought she was going to maybe pull away. Matt Tuck says not so fast. He's all over the bumper of Laura Chung for that 7th spot. So these two still going at it, and even further back, two drivers doing what they need to do. Jack Haas and Keegan Thompson. He can let his teammate Chris Jericho go because it's a 19-point gap, and as they run, Keegan wouldn't lose that, but he's fighting off Chris Jericho, making sure that, hey, if he's going to get by me, he needs to earn it. He's not just going to go up there and then start getting even more spots while I start to drop back.
Yeah, Keegan's he's gotta be careful, but not too careful here. He's just gotta, run his race and come home with, a solid top 15 result, and I think he should be okay today.
Well, they're bound again. Laura Chung versus Matt Tuck on lap number 20, now 21. Matt Tuck gets the spot back from Laura Chung, and Jude Martinelli trying to get a spot from Laura Chung. So she gets put to the top side. Can she use the momentum off the top of turn 2? No, she cannot. So they'll stay drag racing down the back. And Martinelli's going to get the 8th spot from Laura Chung. So he'll separate the Tuck-Chung battle for the moment. Jerry Chen wants 5th from Lathan Strickland. He's all over the bumper of that number 91. And Strickland Full Autosport, that's a team that they've been quietly good this season. They're actually currently 4th in the team points. But Lathan, as of late hasn't been as great as his teammate Jude Martinelli. So it's great to see him running up inside the top 5 and fending off Jerry Chen, Matt Tuck. But I just don't know how much longer he'll be able to do it, especially if Matt Tuck can get around Jerry Chen. I think the 11 maybe just a little bit faster than the 36 and definitely faster than the 91 with how he's really gained on them. So you have to think that if Matt Tuck can get by Jerry Chen, that he'll be able to easily get by Lathan Strickland as well. But as you can see, passing at this point in the race is a little bit difficult. They're trying to save some tires and save some car, and they're just trying to get their way into a nice little green flag run here and just keep their car in one piece. Bryce Egan still all over the back of Riley Spurley for 3rd, which, Evan, up in the middle of this, you have 2 Vision cars up here inside the top 4, then an Otter Island car, and then you have your car. Keeping pace, though. Currently still within a second of the race lead. Yeah,
I'm very happy with how it's gone. The 18's been on the back bumper of the 28, the entire race, it feels right. But I'm very proud of how Riley's really run in the past couple weeks. He's just been a solid top 10, top 5 contender, and hopefully it keeps going in the playoffs, really.
Yeah, I mean, that consistency, even though it may not be race wins and getting the points for those victories, if you can have that consistency, there's only 8 races in the chase, which that's something to think about. Normally you have 10 races and you think, well, maybe you can have 1 mulligan. Do you get a mulligan if it's only 8 races in the chase? That's going to be something to watch out for, and something where maybe you're up there bound for wins, but if you have a 30th, 32nd, 35th place finish in one of those chase races, that could easily take you out of the contention, while someone who maybe just finishes top 5, top 10 every race is up there bound for the points lead and the championships. It's going to be fascinating to watch in these final 8 races how that plays out. Fascinating to watch this battle for 6. Jerry Chen got the run off the top of turn 4 to get back down in front of Matt Tuck to keep that spot, but Matt Tuck's getting a little bit antsy as he sees Drew Martinelli and Laura Chung close up to his back bumper. So Lathan Strickland's holding up a gang of cars right here, and at some point someone's going to have to get aggressive to move around. And oh, by the way, lap traffic is now within half a straightaway of race leader Max Davis, so that's starting to come into play for these leaders, these top dogs, and they're trying to figure out now how they can position themselves in the best position to get into lap traffic. As you see right here, Matt Tuck again with a peek to the inside, Jerry Chen for 6th. but not enough of a run to make it. Chen gets a nice run on Lathan Strickland. That would be for 5th, but kind of gets a little tight off the corner, has to lift, and Matt Tuck's right to the back bumper again. But once again, no closer than the back bumper. He'll stay behind Jerry Chen, who has a bad turns 1 and 2 in the dirty air. Drops off, and now playing defensive down the back straight.
It's really about the top, 9 or 10 have really pulled away from the rest of the field now too. A little while ago we were looking at I think DeLello was kind of the last car within distance of the leader, but now it's Rodriguez by a long shot. You can't even see the rest of the field back there.
Oh, and here we go. Lap traffic. It's Tegan Fox, Robert Ashford at the back of the field. So Max Davis, Nathan Stipton have caught. They have to work their way around, and the tires are worn out. They're within about 10, 15 laps of coming down the pit lane, and now they're in lap traffic, having to play their way through it as best as possible. So Davis is going to get by Robert Ashford. Now look to the inside, Tegan Fox playing defensive off Nathan Stapleton. Further back in the field, Matt Tuck's looking for a pass on Jerry Chen. He gets a nose to the inside, so this could be the pass right here as they work their way through turns 3 and 4 and off the corner. Chen gets the run, though, again off the top of turn 4. You just get such a drive off, but Tuck stays to the inside this time, and Matt Tuck's going to get 6th from Jerry Chen. Finally, he worked him over, finally got by. Matt Tuck is up to 6th, now chasing down Lathan Strickland for 5th. Spur Tube getting around the lap traffic, and these two, Max Davis, Nathan Stapleton, still nose to tail for the lead as they now have Noah Brady and Chris Keselowski to catch up to, I think the last time Noah Brady was a lap car in a race, Evan, that we were watching, there were some shenanigans that happened that involved the race leader, Chris Jericho. So hoping that doesn't happen here today with Max Davis, Nathan Stapleton.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. The 51, I mentioned last time that he was might have been involved in a lot of things, but he's been staying out of trouble lately, so hopefully he doesn't get back into his bad habits here.
Max Davis going to have to find a way around as these two lap down cars are up here. There goes Bryce Egan. He'll get to the inside. He used Tegan Fox, looks like, as a pick, and Bryce Egan finally makes the pass on Spurley Tube for 3rd. He'll try now run down a 2.5 seconds to the top 2 cars, which are in lap traffic, so possibility he could do that if they don't get around in a timely manner. Matt Tuck making a pass on Lathan Strickland. That was a good lap for Vision Motorsports. They have a car leading, they have a car now to 3rd, and they have a car now up to 5th. So put 3 Vision cars inside the top 5, and they lead the team points, and you see why, because they have all 3 cars running outstandingly here today at the Dover Motor Speedway. Davis still stuck behind Noah Brady and Chris Keselowski. That's going to allow teammate Bryce Egan to really start reeling him in. And Nathan Stapleton, finally, Davis pulls to the inside. He'll get by Noah Brady in turns 1 and 2. That'll bring Stapleton with him. Egan cut down half a second already. And Matt Tuck's now into the back bumper of Riley Spirituals. That 11 car looks like, one of the fastest. Riley was aggressive to block off Matt Tuck, and I think it got that 11 car a little loose there.
Yeah, that was just, scary.
Jerry Chen has had a struggling few laps. He's back to 10th. Remember, he lost that 6th spot to Matt Tuck. He just fell backwards. Martinelli gives up the inside to Laura Chung. So move that Otter Island car up a spot now to 7th. As Chung gets to the inside of Tegan Fox as well. Then you have Brian Rodriguez, who's just trying to... he's actually going to get to the inside of Jude Martinelli here. Tegan Fox not playing nice with Jude, but Brian Rodriguez just trying to keep that regular season point seed to get the bonus points heading into the chase for winning these first 24 races in terms of points. And Martinelli's now going to be the one to lose all his ground, back to 10th as Jerry Chen moves around him. Chris Jericho's up to 11th and starting to pull away from the guys he was around. Philip Torres, Keegan Thompson back there. DeLello having a solid day. Jack Haas starting to drop back. He's back to 15th, but still in a good spot because you can see 16th Zidell. Then you have 3 seconds back to Levi Shones. Gutierrez still hanging tough inside the top 20. Good run for him. Matthew Burnett's really carved through the field. He's going to move to 18th. His teammate William Seaman as well. Willard's back up to where he started now, up to 22nd. Got around Alex Sanvitale. The problem is he is currently about 10 seconds behind Jack Haas. So he needs something to go right on pit road for him, it looks like, as we can look through the rest of the field. Eli Bright struggling. Jacob Miller starting to gain some spots. Hernandez dropping back from where he was. And soon we're going to see the leaders because they're coming around to lap these guys. And Max Davis, Nathan Stapleton, they've gotten away now a little bit from Bryce Egan because Egan had a little bit of trouble with Noah Brady. And Matt Tuck's through the lap traffic. There they are. As Lord Chung and Brian Rodriguez are really starting to move forward now, Evan. They have the long run cars. We're halfway through this race. And they've now gotten around Lathan Strickland as well. So Chung's up to 6th, Rodriguez up to 7th. They were back there about 8th and 10th just about 5-10 laps ago. So those are 2 cars on the long run. They've really saved their tires. They're starting to come alive. Same with that 54, Jericho, on the bumper for a top 10.
Yeah. Wow, he
Oh.
really sent it in there. Oh,
Here we go.
looks
Riley
like
with an
Riley's coming up
undercut.
pit road. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's a good call with how much the tire fall off is, but there were 3 wide off turn 4. I was holding my breath there for you with the car on pit road, and these guys are going to – the tires have just worn out so much. The corner speeds are so slow. They're starting to run different lanes. They're really moving around. There goes Stapleton. He'll undercut off of Max Davis, and here comes a whole host of cars. Rodriguez, Chen, Chung. Strickland almost got hit by Philip Torres, it looks like. Jack Haas is in early. So he's not going to let Gabe Willard undercut him. And does Willard come in? I think he has to do something different if he wants a shot.
Yeah, he's got to stay out.
So Willard's going to stay out. Maybe hope for a caution to come out. These guys, oh, that was close. It looks like Max Davis stayed out again along with Matt Tuck. So they're going long here. Looks like some lap cars are also staying out. But most of the leaders, in fact, all but 2, are into pit road. Angel Gutierrez is also going to stay out in the 19. He'll hope that those vision cars pit. He can maybe stay out, lead a lap or something. But Ryan Wilson staying out. Bruno Diacomo. Here comes Davis and Tuck finally in. And there's Riley. He was the first in of anyone. Came in 2 laps earlier than Nathan, or 1 lap earlier than Stapleton, and a few laps earlier than now Max Davis and Matt Tuck. And there's so much fall off, and you want a clean pit road. That's what Riley did really well. He had a clean pit road. It's such a tight, narrow pit road here. See there for Riley, he got by clean all those guys he was near.
He's got a clean pit road, and he had a clean track, too, for a couple laps. Just run as fast as possible.
Yeah, so that worked out well for him. He got away from the guys he was battling. And Nathan Stapleton, I think just, there goes Bryce Egan. He's going to obviously get ahead of him. And now the question is, where does Max Davis and Matt Tuck fall into this? As Crown Jr. leaves pit road with Stapleton to the outside, but I have to think with how the tire fall off is that Nathan Stapleton is going to be leading this race. Max Davis is still getting service, and the 75 is coming at speed down the street. Look at that. He's already by him.
He's gone.
So Nathan Stapleton's crew with the undercut is going to have a massive lead, and he's going to put Gabe Willard a lap down here. That's just how big that undercut was. Stapleton coming in early. Crown Jr. nearly ran into Gabe Willard right there, but as everything's... Oh, Keegan Thompson's back on pit road!
Oh!
I believe that is an issue on the 6 car. He's already been down pit road, and now he's back in, it looks like. This could be disastrous because Chris Jericho's not running poorly in that 54 car.
We were saying all he needed today was just a clean top 15 run, and it's not looking good now. Second pit stop.
And it looks like they're putting all 4 tires on, so there was some sort of issue on that 6 car. Ryan Spirit to want to bring up has cycled up to 2nd by doing the undercut more than anyone. So they're going to put 4 tires on that 6. He's down and away. We'll see where he comes out. But teammate Chris Jericho is running just outside the top 10. And how bad was the overcut? Max Davis is down to 10th, 10 seconds behind race leader Nathan Stapleton.
Wow. He's
That,
behind Seidel now.
Yeah,
wow.
Justin Seidel's up to 9th. Jack Haas is
Haas?
8th. Philip
Wow.
Torres is 7th. Max Davis played the strategy, but it was the wrong strategy. And that 16 has dropped from the lead and dominating the race down to now battling to try and get whatever spots he can inside the top 10. Even Matt Tuck played that overcut strategy. He's down outside the top 10 and 13th. Jericho's currently up in 12th. But Keegan Thompson is 3 laps down in 42nd. As they run, he would be out, and both Willard and Haas would be in.
Wow, that's exactly what those two were hoping for. And Willard was having a bad day, and now all of a sudden, he's having a good day.
Yeah, now all of a sudden it's looking a little bit better, but things can still happen, right? Jericho can have an issue. Was that, it obviously looked like it was just a tire issue. They changed 4 tires, they got back out and away. And so I have to think that they just had a flat tire or a loose wheel, something along the lines of that. But how badly this could shake things up. It was looking like it was going to be an easy 3-driver chase for Toussaint Racing. But as they stand now, they only have 2 drivers in, Jericho and Rodriguez. And I mean, yeah, Jericho's in a conflicting position right now because he's like, man, I'm getting those bonus points now, but it's at the cost of my teammate who's going to fall out and have a shot to race for the championship now. So things have gotten crazy here at the Dover Motor Speedway, and there's still over 20 laps to go. Stapleton leads by a comfortable margin over Riley Spurley Tube, but Stapleton might have to watch out for Bryce Egan, who's up to 3rd and starting to close in just a little bit in that number 18, but obviously there's traffic all around. They have to work their way through that as well.
Yeah, Spurley's definitely fallen off a little bit. You can tell the undercut means his tires are not as good as the guys around him, so he's fallen off a little bit. But Stapleton is just way faster than the rest of the field right now, and of course that's helped out by his pit strategy too.
Yep, exactly. He pitted just a lap after Riley Spurley. He was the second of the race leaders to come in, and it really helped him out. He got that track position. Now he's good, just trying to hold it. He has 3 seconds in hand over the battle for second between Riley Spurley 2 and Bryce Egan. These two again are going to be going at it. We'll see if Egan can do a little bit better job again by the 28 this time. He gets a nice run through turns 3 and 4. We'll have to see if it works out for him down the straightaway. And the gap is about stable between Egan and Stapleton. If he can get by Riley here, he has a shot to maybe close in on that number 75 of the race leader. So he gets to the inside, he moves Spurley to the side, and he gets by. So Bryce Egan up to second. He'll try and chase down Nathan Stapleton. He's looking for his 5th victory on the season in 24 races, and that would be a massive points boost heading into the chase. You know, you get 4 points for every win. He's up there also inside the top 3 in points, so he'd be getting a massive bonus points boost towards the championship. He'd probably enter as the number 1 seed if things stood as they did, but there's still about 25-24 laps to go. Egan has to get by some lap traffic to get up there, but looks like the 18 a little bit faster of a car when he's in clear racetrack. And so we scroll back through. Look at this. Laura Chung on the outside of lap cars. Davis has gotten around Jack Haas. Now he's going to get by Laura Chung. Philip Torres up to 6th, having a good day. You know, all 3 Outer Island cars now up here. Martinelli still fending off Jericho for 10th for now. I think that 54 definitely faster than the 94, probably faster than the 23 who played an undercut strategy. So that 54 is starting to come out, trying to get some spots back. Zidell must have undercut. He's dropped back into the clutches now of Matt Tuck, who's really not gone anywhere with his overcut. He fell back to 13th and he's staying back there. Levi Shones is back here. Lathan Strickland's falling back here. DeLello, and then Seaman and Burnett are the last cars on the lead lap, and even them, they are only about half a turn in front of Nathan Stapleton. So we have 18 cars on the lead lap. Sam Vitale, Crown Jr., Gabe Willard, and Drew Webb all lap down, along with Tim Gary and Anthony Hernandez. Angel Gutierrez is right there. You have Jordan Stout, the 66, his teammate Joshua Cox as well. So things are moving around. At the front, still 3.3 seconds between Stapleton and Bryce Egan. It's staying about consistent there. We'll have to see how it changes over the course of these final 20 laps. Laura Chung trying to fend off Max Davis. Further back, it's a big battle. Philip Torres got put to the outside. He'll drop from 6th all the way to 11th as Haas, Martinelli, and Jericho file around and get inside the top 10.
Yeah, we got a couple of guys here who we haven't really talked about recently, at least it feels like, in terms of just speed. We've talked about him in terms of points, but, you know, Haas hasn't had the greatest speed since earlier in the season, and same with, like, Torres, and but they're having good days now. They played the right strategy, and they're running in the top 10.
And this was the day Jack Haas needed it. You know, even though as it stands, it looks like he wouldn't have actually needed to be running inside the top 10. He did what he needed to do in regards to how he's running compared to Gabe Willard, as Martinelli makes a big dive to the inside and gets that spot. Jericho's going to also take 9th away. So Martinelli up to 8th, Jericho to 9th, Torres going back for 10th there. And as it stands, both Haas and Willard would be in, with Keegan Thompson still down in 42nd and Chris Jericho up and now 9th, gaining a lot of points and gaining a lot of time is Bryce Egan. He's cut a half a second out of Nathan Stapleton's lead. It's down to 2.5 seconds and still 18 laps to go. The number 18 has time, but he needs to gain a lot over these laps. In fact, he lost ground that lap. So maybe a commentator jinx, you bring it up, he immediately starts losing ground. And that number 18, he needs to gain multiple tenths a lap to have a shot. And I can see Riley Spurley trying to hang on to 3rd as Brian Rodriguez and Jerry Chen look to gain on him in 4th and 5th. And Egan's starting to lose ground because he's caught up to now all the lap cars that Stapleton had to work around. So he has to work around Drew Webb, and then Sam Vitale, then Gabe Willard, and then Crown Jr. So it's going to be a tall task. He would need that 75 to really start falling off Evan, because getting by lap traffic here just gets harder and harder the more worn your tires get.
Yeah, and Stapleton really got, I wouldn't say lucky, but his team had such a great pit stop, and he had such a good strategy. He got by some of those, some of those cars that are between him and Egan are, they're not bad cars. They're fast cars. And Egan's got to work around them, but Stapleton passed him on, during the pit sequence. He didn't have to work around him himself. So Egan's going to have a tough time, getting up to Stapleton.
And this is going to be a day of what-ifs for this driver, Max Davis, who was dominating the early portion of this race, was leading all those laps, had the race in control over Nathan Stapleton. The team decided, let's go for an overcut, trying to keep out there, and it didn't work out. They put him into a busy pit road, very busy pit road, and on top of that, the tires wear out so fast there. He was losing about 2 seconds a lap to Nathan Stapleton out there on fresh tires, and he stayed out about 2 laps longer than him. So that was about 4 seconds lost there. Factor in a few seconds on pit road. So he's actually trying to use the outside to get by Laura Chung here, trying to regain some lost ground. That would be for 6th place, but I don't know if the outside's the way to do it. Maybe right here get a run off the corner, dive to the inside, but Laura's playing defensive there as the gap at the front back down to 2.5 seconds between Stapleton and Egan, now even lower than that. But the 18 needs to gain more. There's only 11 laps to go at the line. Time is running out for Bryce Egan to run down Stapleton, have a shot to pass, while Laura Chung continues to play defense on Max Davis for 6th spot. Further back, Matt Tuck is gaining on Philip Torres for 10th and moving to the inside. That's another driver who played the overcut and is trying to gain some spots back. And Bryce Egan took out 0.7 of a second that lap. It's not over. Stapleton's caught behind Robert Ashford.
The only problem is Egan's caught behind a couple lap cars too. But he's really caught up, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's only got 10 laps to work with here.
1.2, and now Stapleton's getting by Robert Ashford. I thought he was, but Robert's playing defensive here, and that number 58 it's got to be making Stapleton angry, and you have to wonder, Gabe Willard trying so hard, does he know that Keegan Thompson is in a position where he's going to be falling outside the top 10 in points, and Jericho's going to be moving his way in? I don't know, but Willard is really fighting hard, but even with Egan stuck behind, he's really caught. Now Stapleton moves Ashford aside. Now Egan really needs to get by Willard and Crown Jr. This could be a way to do it here. Willard might move high. Egan can try and shoot low. That's not going to happen. Luckily for Egan, though, he's gotten by Robert Ashford, so he's good in that regard. He's gotten by the slower of the cars, but he has to get by the 27 and the 20 as well. Give an update on 3rd place. Rodriguez has moved up. Jerry Chen's moved to 4th. Sprotu back to 5th. He might be able to cycle in there, but maybe not. Max Davis is coming like a bull in a china shop, trying to get spots back. He's gotten by Laura Chung, pulled away by half a second in a lap. He's up now to 6th, and the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th is still ongoing. Martinelli still fending off Jericho, who's now trying to fend off Matt Tuck. So big battles there, but 7 laps to go. It's under a second at the front. Stapleton still leading over Egan, but Egan is still stuck behind both Gabe Willard and Crown Jr. But now Stapleton has another OSC car to deal with, and it's Tegan Fox coming around to 6 to go, but Tegan moves aside a lot easier than her teammate did.
Yeah, that might be the one there that Stapleton just had to get by, and that might be the one that ends it for him, and he might be able to secure the win now, I think.
Yeah, Bryce Egan has just had so much trouble with these 2 cars, the EKH car and the Southern Cross Racing car. Now they're actually stuck behind the OSC car, so it's double trouble for Bryce Egan, who's really caught up here. Stapleton is going to run into the meme cars of Burdett and William Seaman, who are both inside the top 20, having pretty decent days. But that's just that's just how Dover is you can really put a lot of guys lap down if you have a really good race car. And Stapleton has a really good race car and had really good strategy as well. He's starting to open the gap back up over Bryce Egan as he's caught behind. Once again, double trouble. 2 lap cars and then a car that's 2 laps down. Tegan Fox in the 59 as Stapleton takes 4 laps to go. He has a nice gap in hand, and Max Davis is continuing his conquest. Back up,
he's flying.
Got by Riley Spiritube. Laura Chung's got by Riley Spiritube, so the tires are giving out. Martinelli's had to give up spots back to 10th as both Jericho and Tuck move around. But Spiritude's back in 7th, but once again doing what he needs to do to make the chase. Max Davis up to 5th. 4th could still be in the cards because Jerry Chen is right up the road in that 36 stuck behind Angel Gutierrez. And the gap at the front still growing. 3 laps to go. We're now back up to 1.8 seconds. So Bryce Egan, he had a shot, but he had to get by lap traffic to do it. He's not been able to do it. They got by Tegan Fox finally. He might get by Gabe Willard right here, but too much time has passed. We're coming back to 2 to go, and unless something happens to the 75, this is Nathan Stapleton's race. He has 2 miles to go at Dover. Through 1 and 2, he has Matthew Burnett. He's going to move low on. Egan finally gets by both Crown and Willard, but the time is out. Stapleton just going to ride behind Matthew Burnett for now. He'll take the white flag. 1 final lap here at the Monster Mile for his 5th win on the season and massive momentum heading into the chase. Nathan Stapleton in that number 75. He's won races, Chicagoland and Nazareth as of late. Now pick up another one. The last 7 races have been won by 3 drivers. Now make it 8 races won by just 3 drivers. As Stapleton continues the trend off turn 4, Stapleton is a winner in the Xfinity 400 here at the Dover Motor Speedway. Egan ends up in 2nd. 3rd place will go to Brian Rodriguez. He'll clinch the regular season title. Davis got Chen for 4th. Jericho and Tuck both got Riley Spurley there, so they were coming alive. Martinelli rounds out the top 10. Jack Haas crosses the line in a good position. And Evan Thompson is going to finish 42nd, and he is out of the chase because of a mechanical issue in that number 6 car.
Yeah, what a shame. He had the day going that he needed. He was just solidly running there, and, things happen. And unfortunately, they happen at the worst time for Keegan.
Yeah, and that's one, he's going to look back on the season. Once again, he hasn't led a lap at all this season. He's going to think back on that. Obviously, he lost it by a lot more than just a few points. So a lap sled wouldn't have just, gotten it for him automatically. But he's going to look at bonus points and think about what if he was closer and stuff like that. But as you mentioned, this is racing. Stuff happens like that. And unfortunately for Keegan Thompson, it happened right at the end of the regular season. He had been in the chase for most of the season. And as of late, it's just, Matt Tuck and Chris Jericho have really come alive. He was ahead of them in points. Matt Tuck jumped his way inside the top 10, and Chris Jericho is going to do the same in the 54 here in the final race of the regular season. And for the number 6, I want to see if there's not even anything in the in-game chat. There isn't even an issue. So you would have to think maybe, Evan, it was some sort of penalty or a loose wheel. It wasn't a flat tire. It wasn't anything mechanical that we know of. It was just he came back down pit road, took on 4 tires, and left again. So it wasn't even anything. It seems like mechanically with the car that Tucson Racing could have controlled.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet on the side that it was probably a loose wheel. He felt a vibration in the car. He had to come back down a second time, and unfortunately, you wonder what that was like, making that turn onto pit road, knowing that, this could be the end of your season. But if, something else happened to the car, you don't want to get hurt out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a hard decision. Obviously, at Dover, the wheels are going to be shaking a lot. You have high corner speeds. If it's loose through the corners, that's going to be very, very bad for the driver to feel. And at the end, the driver has the final decision in that. And that must have been so hard for Keegan to make that decision, saying, we have to come back in. There is something seriously wrong with the car. And unfortunately for Keegan, he ends up in 42nd place, 3 laps down, and his chase chances are over in the final race of the regular season. As we'll now go take a look at the finishing results, and then we'll look at the points and see who makes the chase in the inaugural DeWalt Cup Series season. So here is how they finished in the Xfinity 400 at Dover. Nathan Stapleton, 5th victory on the season. With where he is in points and how many wins he has, he is the number 1 seed into the final 8 races, the chase. So Stapleton in a good way here at Dover. Bryce Egan ends up in 2nd. He tried his best, did everything he could, but lap traffic just didn't work out for him. And it's a solid points day and good momentum as of late heading into the chase. Brian Rodriguez wins the regular season championship. He'll be the 2nd seed in the chase, just 2 points behind Stapleton to start. He ends up 3rd. Max Davis, a big what-if day. What if better strategy was called? He ended up 4th, even after falling back to 11th on pit road. So a great drive for Davis in the final laps, but unfortunately it's not the win that he definitely could have gotten if the strategy just played out in a little bit better way. Jerry Chen ends up inside the top 5 in 5th. Laura Chung in 6th. Chris Jericho and Matt Tuck made some late passes, 7th and 8th. Riley Spurgeon fell to 9th at the end, and Jude Martinelli found a spot inside the top 10, held off Philip Torres. Jack Haas ends up in 12th. He would have beat Gabe Willard anyway, but with Keegan Thompson's issues, both Haas and Willard are in the chase. You can see right there, Jack Haas finished 12th. Gabe Willard ended up 19th. Both are in. Keegan Thompson's out. Chris Jericho's in the top 10 in points. So that talk of highest finisher between Haas and Willard at Dover moves on. Both move on because one driver near the cut line in the top 10 in points had issues and put Chris Jericho in, who had those 3 victories. And as we look down through the rest of the finishing order, we get down to 42nd place Keegan Thompson. Once again, it wasn't a mechanical issue, wasn't a flat tire. Whatever it was, it made him come back down pit road. He took 4 brand new tires, 3 laps down, 42nd, and he's out of the chase. No championship for Keegan Thompson in the 2025 DeWalt Cup Series season. And now we move forward to the points, and this is how they ended up at the end of the regular season. Rodriguez, 13 points over Egan. Laura Chung stayed in front of Stapleton by 2 points. That could be major by the end of the season because Laura Chung gets a few more bonus points. Nathan Stapleton gets a couple less, so that's kind of big for Laura Chung to stay in front of that. Stapleton, once again, 5 wins, 4th in points. That's 4 points per win, so that's 20 points there, 10 for his regular season standing. So he's 30 right there, and he's going to start number 1 seed. Jerry Chen kept 5th. Max Davis got 6th by 2 points over Riley Spurley-Tube, so they end up 6th, 7th. Matt took 8th. Martinelli 9th, and Chris Jericho takes the final spot inside the top 10. As we look down at the rest, Keegan Thompson was 16 points behind his teammate Jericho because of the issues here today. He's out of the chase. Jack Haas, Gabe Willard, 12th, 13th in points. The highest 2 winners outside the top 10 in points take wildcard spots, so they're in the chase. They'll start with 0 points. They have 30 points to make up over Nathan Stapleton, but they're in with a shot at the championship. Anything can happen in those final 8 races. And now we move on to the owner standings. Vision Motorsports continues to lead over Otter Island Motorsports. Both those teams had very similar days. Toussaint Racing drops from 2nd down to 3rd because of their bad day. With obviously Keegan Thompson. Both Jericho and Rodriguez ran well. Keegan was running well until he had issues after pit stops, and EK Shiner Prize is back up to 4th over Fos Autosport. So Evan, you got a driver in the chase, Riley Spurley-Tube. He obviously has no bonus points for wins, but he does get 7th place in the regular season standing, so he gets bonus points for that, and he's in the chase, and he has a shot at the championship over these final 8 races.
Yeah, anything can happen. So he's just I'm hoping he just keeps up the consistency and maybe gets a couple wins that could propel him to a championship. You just never know what's going to happen. So hopefully he can get that done.
Well, these final 8 are the time to start peaking. So if there's stuff that teams have left to show, they're going to start showing it here in these final 8 races of the season, and we'll see which driver comes out on top. There's a lot of big names, and I was thinking for Chris Jericho, start of the day, that he wasn't going to be inside the top 10, and he was going to have a big holdover come having 0 points because he was going to be a wild card. You have to think that Chris Jericho has just etched his name in as a championship favorite now, getting some bonus points and being just a little bit closer to Nathan Stapleton as we start off the chase. So things are going to go wild. Next time out on JRTV next Monday is the start of the chase at the Rockingham Speedway. So you thought the tire wear was bad here. It's going to be absolutely insane next time at Rockingham. So another just about 1 mile racetrack, and we'll see how it goes next time on JRTV. Then 2 weeks from now is our last Sunday night race of the season at the Iowa Speedway. So we go Rockingham and then short track racing in Iowa to start out the chase. We'll see how it plays out over the course of these next 8 weeks right here on JRTV. Let's congratulate Benny Watson, Otter Island Motorsports, another victory this season. That's the 8th overall for the team, and Nathan Stapleton's 5th on the season. Congratulations to everyone there on a dominant day here at Dover. For Evan Hunter, I'm Joe Rakowski. So long from the Dover Motor Speedway.